live. I know that there's a bit of a little lag sometimes, so we're going to give it a few seconds. We're going to give people a few seconds to join us also. Just want to check on LinkedIn to make sure that everything is streaming. Jill, how you doing today?
I am fantastic. I am so excited to see you. We met at an ATD conference and I just fell in love with you there and we hung
Oh,
out and now I get to see you again. Yes. So I'm
no,
excited to be here.
I fell in love with you too. So let me just, I want to make sure that everything is still live. And I want to try to get to our chat here also. So give me
Yeah.
2 seconds
Yeah. You do that.
before. Oh, we are
It's
live.
working. And I don't know how you have this going, but like you have like this breeze coming through and your hair is moving. Like, do I need a fan in
Yes.
my office so that I like my hair is down and it's like the models, right? With the breeze coming here. Like
Yes. Yes. Okay.
this is the real you and not the AI version of you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, this is how I can prove that it's me. That's why we have like breeze coming so everyone knows it's me. All right. So we have some people joining us live, and I hope that we're streaming both on LinkedIn and YouTube. So let's get started. Let me do a quick intro for you.
Yeah.
And then I'll introduce myself. I'm Myra Roldan. I am a Chief AI Officer and a CEO of Investo AI. And I started a book club on LinkedIn called the Bookmark. And so Jill is our first author for this book club. So let me tell you a little bit about Jill. Jill is the founder and CEO of Breakthrough Leadership Group. Jill also is a phenomenal keynote speaker. She's a writer and she teaches the science of bravery. And believe it or not, Jill was in the Marines. Like, homegirl was killing it. Uh, like, man, I have such great honor just in knowing you. I'm very proud of anyone who serves. So thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Um, yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. So Joe became passionate about helping people push through their fear and step out of
Mhm.
their comfort zones and leading themselves and others with courage. And so Jill wrote, let me put up my little graphic here. Here you
Yeah.
go. So Jill wrote The Bravery Effect, and this is our first book club read. So Jill, put up your copy. I'm going to
Okay.
put up my Kindle copy.
Ooh, and it's out on Audible. I'm super
Yeah.
excited.
Oh,
I'm
it
like
is
listening to my
on
book
Audible.
on Audible. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
So
that's amazing. So one thing that a lot of people may not know about you is that you are part of the Blanchard family, the Ken Blanchard
mm,
family. And Ken Blanchard actually wrote the forward for your
mm.
book. I'm a Ken Blanchard fan also.
Oh, I mean, anyone in the business world, we all love Ken Blanchard. He has made such a profound impact on my life. I don't think I ever would have written this book without him. I was a channel partner and I did all these, workshops for his company, got to know the whole like Blanchard family. But there's some times where I was like, "Ah, gosh, I'm stuck. I don't know if I can write." And it was Ken as part of my brave tribe that gave me the advice I needed so that I could keep going. So he's very, very special to me.
Yeah, that's amazing. He's such like just knowing him and Margie, they're both phenomenal people. And I think that, one of my favorite Kim Blanchard books is like Raving Fans.
Ah, mhm.
That book is just like that sung to my heart.
Oh
But
yeah.
now I read the Bravery Effect, and let's talk a little bit about your book, right? So
Yeah.
I'm a Kindle user.
You know
Like
what? My daughter is too. Like, I mean, it's just these are so I travel and I've got 3 books with me and they
yeah,
take so much space. So I
right.
should get with it and get a Kindle.
Let
Yeah.
me just tell you, I have hard copies of all the books I buy at home, but because I travel so much, the Kindle is just like I can keep on reading, right?
Mhm.
Like I don't have to.
So even before you get started, like you probably saw the influence of Ken Blanchard on this book
Yes,
because it's a parable. Yeah, it's a story. Yeah. That
and
was
I
that was
love.
Ken influence on me.
Yeah, I love that. So I want you to tell us. So I'm going to ask you some like quick questions. So the first question I have for you, let's go into the book first. Um, is why write a book on bravery?
Mm. The reason why the world needs a book on bravery or the world needs the science of bravery is because so many people today in the world, specifically, I work with businesses in the workplace, allow fears to silently control their actions,
Mhm.
limiting their impact and their happiness. So, the other thing about me that's like interesting is I can say I'm a happiness scientist. So what is a happiness scientist? It's someone who studies positive psychology. So my master's is in positive psychology. Um, I studied under Dr. Marty Seligman, the father of positive psychology. So the reason I bring that up is I think so many people in this world believe that, oh, if I want to live my best life, my happiest life, I want an easy path. I want to remove any adversity. And that is simply not the truth. And this is one of the reasons why we have the highest levels of depression and anxiety, especially in our younger generation, because every time they have a fear or something uncomfortable, many times they think, oh, for me to be the happiest, I'm just going to run the other way and avoid it. So I am so passionate about this message so that people can, I mean, ultimately, here's what my motivation is, Mira, which is I really do care about people accomplishing goals and driving results in their company. It's really important. It matters. But you know what matters even more? People thriving, people being the happiest, that matters even more. And bravery is what bridges the gap. And if people can learn the skill of bravery, and it is a skill, based
Yeah.
on science, it's a skill that you can build over time, then people will stop allowing fear to control them, and it impacts all aspects of their life, right? So like fear keeps us small, prevents us from doing what we really want, and bravery is the antidote that helps people overcome it. So, and I had this light bulb moment when I was studying at Penn. I was going through my master's program, and I'm like, okay, so what part of positive psychology do I want to take a deep dive in? I'm like, this is the thing that prevents people. So that became my obsession, my area of focus, which led to the book, etc. So that's why I wrote a book on bravery.
Yeah, I love that. Like, I think about my own life path, right? And I shared this with you when we first met. Like, I haven't had a straight and narrow path, and a lot of what I've been able to accomplish has been by what I call putting on my big girl pants, right? Um, just doing it, right? Because like I was a young mom and I came to the States with a 4-month old. Like no support system, and so I had to put on my big girl pants to do it. But now that I read your book, I understand that what I was doing is I was being brave, right? I
Mhm.
was I was even though I was scared, right? And that could have held me back tremendously. Like if I had let fear,
Mhm.
that negativity that comes along with fear hold me back, I don't think I would have gotten to where I am today.
Yeah.
Um, so you were able to describe it so well in your book. Thank
So
you.
you can look back and go, oh, this is why. This is why I did it. Here's why it had such a profound impact on my life. Yes, yes. And for so many people out there, for anyone who's listening in, you might be thinking like, oh gosh, like I'm just not brave. Like I want everyone to feel that you're absolutely normal. It's the reason why you sometimes are controlled by your fear is because you're a human being. And if
Yeah.
we look at evolutionary psychology, we are wired to allow fear to control us in order to survive, right? If you get close to the edge of a cliff, if you feel the fear and back away, that helps you stay safe. If you run into a saber-toothed tiger as you're walking, you're going to feel fear and try to avoid that or run the other way. The only thing is now that we have evolved so much and we've got so much technology, all the fear that we experience isn't physical fear, it's usually psychological fear. Like I'm so scared that I might look silly, that I might be embarrassed, that I might fail. So, but our nervous system doesn't know the difference. And we can override that instinct to run away from fear and to face it. And as you say, put your big girl pants on. So I just want everyone to know that it's possible. Anyone can learn to be brave if you follow the steps in the book. I try to make it an entertaining story. It just takes a little by little. And I always talk about bravery like a muscle. You're not going to read my book and then all of a sudden you're the bravest person in the world. It doesn't work that way. It's like a muscle. Like if you want to grow some biceps, you're going to go to the gym and you're going to lift something that's a little bit heavy and it's going to hurt a little if you're doing it right, and you're going to be a little bit sore. And then the next time you pick up a little bit more weight. So that's the same way bravery is. And when people do that, oh my gosh, like the impact again on their success is important and results is really important, but the impact it has on their self-confidence, their self-efficacy, their self-pride, their self-love, that is the most exciting part, I learned to
Yeah.
be.
I think that so you are so contagious, first of all. And that's the person that attracted to me when we met at the NSA conference, what, 2 years
Was it
ago.
NSA or was it at ATD?
So we met for it was NSA because remember I had altitude sickness and you gave me some IV fluids.
Oh yeah, liquid IV. Liquid IV, legal,
In a
just
bottle, yeah,
clarifying.
liquid IV in a bottle because we're
That's
standing at the
right.
back of the
Okay.
room.
We go
Yeah,
to a
yeah,
lot of the same conferences, so that's why we get this confused.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we had met at ATD, but we hung out at NSA. Like
Ah,
that's where we
that's
really
right.
got to connect. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you saved my life there. So thank you. I almost passed out from altitude.
And I think we
Like
made
that-
plans at that thing that we're gonna go
we're gonna go
hike.
on a trip.
We said we're gonna go on a trip and hike some beautiful sites. So we
Yeah,
still need to plan that,
we'll
Mira.
need to do that. Yeah. I wanted to go skydiving with you for your book launch. I thought that was amazing. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So to celebrate the book launch, I decided to do the one thing that I am the most terrified of, which is jumping out of an airplane and skydiving. It was absolutely, the day of, and like I'm applying a lot of the psychological concepts that I teach. Like a lot of times when you're experiencing anxiety or fear, it's actually the same emotion as in excitement. So I was doing a lot of cognitive reframing, like I'm excited, I feel the nerves, it's because I'm excited. And that worked until we got up in the plane and they opened the door. And then it was just an whatever moment, right? Oh
Yeah.
crap
Oh
moment.
God.
And it was just pure terror. But the good thing is I told everyone I was doing it. We literally had the local news there. Like there was no way I wasn't going to do it. And
Oh
because
my
camera rolling,
goodness.
if you watch the video of me, like I have this smile on my face, but it's like you can see the terror in my eyes and then a fake smile just as they open the door. And then we jump out. And the guy who was because it's a tandem, you have to do tandem your first one. He's
Yeah.
like, you want to flip on the way out? I'm like, okay. so so it's only the first 2 seconds that's terrifying because as soon as you start feeling the resistance of the air and you
Mhm.
become stable, it is actually so serene and beautiful and calm. Um, so yeah, that was my experience. I overcame one of my biggest fears. If I'm the expert in bravery, I better try to demonstrate it myself. And that's one of the things in door number 2 that we'll talk about a little bit later is sometimes don't wait until you feel confident or ready. You just have to do it. So for me, like skydiving, like I'm still fearful of it, but my opinion of skydiving is like that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And I would
Mhm.
do it again and I'd still get nervous, but
Yep.
because I did it, now I have evidence that oh, I actually did that, right? And
Yeah.
so one of the keys,
You
yeah, is
didn't die.
I
You
didn't
did
die.
did
I
not.
put my big girl pants on, to use
Yeah.
Meredith's term, and it was fine, and it was actually really fun, except for about 5 seconds. But
5
other than
seconds.
that, it was
Yeah. So this is interesting because every time I go to do something, right, I have this belief system of like I'm like if I'm gonna jump, I'm gonna jump. I have to jump with both feet, right? Like I can't just
Mhm.
like hop and have try to keep one foot on the ground. Like I have to jump with both feet into whatever, like no matter how scared I am, right? I may drown, right? But at the end of the day, I had nothing I've ever done has ever like I'm still alive, right? I'm like talking to you right now. I've never done anything that would actually hurt me. And when I was little, one of the things that I was raised by my grandparents and my mom. My grandfather used to always tell me like, go play, go outside, just don't die. Right? Like that was the rule. Was like whatever you do, just don't die. And that's always stayed with me, right? So like if the worst thing is death, then anything in between isn't that bad because at the end of the day, you're going to come home, you're going to go to bed. You might have nerves after it still, right? You may still in be in your brain and stuff, but it's like taking that risk. And so
taking
you talk about doors, right? Like one of the things that fascinated me is I love reading tables of content. I don't know why.
Mhm.
And you start off with like the bravery effect where you start to explain it, but then you go into doors, like first door, second door, and then the leap. So tell
Mhm.
me about the doors.
Yeah, so, The story is written as a parable with a character named Alex. And most people that read the book say, I see myself in Alex. So
Mhm.
Alex goes through some self-discovery with his mentor. And each time he goes through a door, he has a breakthrough, like an aha moment. And the way I organize, I try to take my research, right? So I'm kind of an academic nerd, so I can just talk about my research forever. And the reason why I wrote it as a parable is because most people learn best through stories. It's more entertaining. And when you write a parable, people want to get to the end. So it's my little sneaky way of getting you to read the whole book, right? And so each of the doors represents basically a body of research in psychology. That's the breakthrough. So door number one is all about building a brave mindset, which is the first step in building bravery. We need to first win the battle in our mind, right? Before we're going to actually take action. It's all based on cognitive psychology. So that's door number one, which is really helping this main character realize that he can do hard things. That when he encounters any stress or any challenges, that is what's needed to help him grow and develop and to get to higher levels of happiness. So yeah, door number one's all about the cognitive side of peak performance and being brave. Yeah.
Okay. And how about door number two?
Yeah. And then door number two is all about actually taking brave action. So if you look at the definition of bravery, like the academic definition, a lot of us think we understand bravery and we actually don't. We think bravery is like, oh, bravery is, I mean, everyone think of what comes to mind. Navy
Yeah.
SEALs running into,
Yeah.
into combat, or
Yeah.
maybe a firefighter running into a burning building. That's what we think of when we think of bravery. We think of really rare heroic moments, which, yes, those are examples of extreme bravery. And I want to honor that, especially as a fellow vet.
Mhm.
However, bravery is so much more than that. The definition of bravery is voluntary action in the presence of fear toward a noble or worthwhile goal. So door number two is very important. I don't want people to get stuck in, oh, we just have to have a mindset. Because sometimes people just talk about mindset, but then they don't take the leap or they don't take a step. And that is not being brave. That's being a coward. It's not taking the step. So door number two is when Alex understands that this is about brave action. So this is based on all behavioral psychology that I insert into the story here. And one of the things I can just emphasize here is I think so many people make the mistake of waiting until they feel ready or confident. Like,
Mhm.
oh, if you've ever told yourself this, and I'm saying this because I've done this myself, like the timing's just not right. I'm
I'm
not
not
feeling
ready.
confident yet. That is that just means that you're not being brave, right? If you wait until there's no fear and you feel ready, then you're not actually being brave. So it's about, you know, you said not just one foot, like kind of stepping in, putting your toe in, but like just jumping into it. So that is what bravery is. So he learns all about, how to do something in the presence of fear, take that action. And, the one body of evidence, I got to nerd out once because I'm just a nerd, but like this is based on Albert Bandura's research on self-efficacy. What he discovered is that the only way that you build self-confidence is by taking steps, right? So if you take a step and you don't die, as you say, and you're like, okay, I did that, and you take another step. So it's breaking it down into little steps and taking each step before you feel ready. So getting out of your comfort zone, doing something uncomfortable, that gives you evidence that, wow, I just did that.
Yeah.
So you create self-belief and self-efficacy with action, not staying in mindset. You got to have mindset helps you take action, but mindset is to help you take action, but you
Yeah.
have to take a step, even
Take the
being, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really big on taking action. I do a lot of traveling by myself, and
Mhm.
I have friends who are people that I meet, and they're like, "Oh my God, I would love to travel by myself, but," right? Um,
But I feel scared, right?
Scared on like whatever it is, right? And I tell 'em like, you just have to do it. Like, they ask me like, "How do you do it?" I'm like, "I don't know. I buy a ticket and I do it. Like I just do
And
it,
now it's
right?"
no big deal. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, yes. Oh, I
right?
have I have a similar example. So my older daughter, a couple years ago, she had just gone off to college, freshman year at University of Oklahoma. And, when she gets to the airport in Oklahoma, when she comes home for a visit, she's got to get to the college campus. And at the time, her boyfriend wasn't there to pick her up or whatever. She didn't have a ride. And so I'm like, just Uber. And she was so scared to Uber because, girls think I'm 18 years old and it's going to be scary. How do I do an Uber? And it was one of those things I'm like, you just have to do it. You just have to do it. it's going to be okay. So I was kind of like helping her, supporting her, encouraging her. And she like booked the Uber. And then she called me in there and she's like, that wasn't so easy. That wasn't so bad. That was easy. She's like, this feels kind of fancy. I'm getting driven somewhere. So there's just like, we have a story we tell in ourselves in our mind that it's going to be so hard. And then we do it. We're like, oh, like I can do this. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So let's talk about the third door.
Yeah. And the third door, not that I have a favorite door, but I love, love, love the third door because it's based on social psychology. Um, and it's about building brave relationships. You ever hear your mom ever say the saying, like, you are who you hang out with? Have we all
Mhm.
heard that term?
Yes.
She was right. She was right. So bravery is contagious. Like, for example, when I started writing my book, I mean, I was very scared. Like, oh, can I finish this? Is anyone going to want to read it? Like, can I, there's a lot of fears that go along with it. So in order to apply what I've taught, you have to curate a brave tribe. And so what I mean by that is if you just listen to the people that you always hang out with that haven't written books, they're going to be like, why would you want to do that? Like, but you have to find, like, curate is like, what is a museum curator going to do? They're going to pick
Mhm.
the perfect pieces. So I had to think about, who am I going to listen to, surround myself with, that have successfully launched books? Ken Blanchard, who I've known for years,
Mhm.
John Gordon, who's written a lot of parables, and many other authors, including the famous Mira, because I met you and you had already written like so many books. So
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
surround yourself with people who have done the hard thing that you want to do, that increases your confidence and you feel like, oh, I can do this because I have all these wise mentors that are giving me advice, that are encouraging me when I fall down. So I want people to like realize this. Door number 3 is be strategic in your brave tribe. Instead of just hanging out with the people that you live close to because they're your neighbors, be thinking about, what is the hard thing I'm striving to do that's really important? It's a self-concordant goal. And then how can I proactively surround myself with people who have done what I want to do, and then ask for their help. And it makes you feel so much more comfortable. Like, if you make a mistake, they're going to help you. So Angela Duckworth, who wrote the book on grit, most people know Angela. She's a Penn psychologist as well. This is what she's going to be publishing her next book on. She's going to be lecturing at the end of the month to us at Penn, so I'm excited to hear all about it. But she said, she's like, she loved her work on grit, but she goes, there's something that was missing. And that's what the new book is about, is if you create an environment, right? You surround yourself with people that all do hard things. If you create the environment, it's a lot easier to be gritty, or it's a lot easier to be brave. So I think door number 1 and door number 2 are things that it's like, okay, we got to have the mindset, we've got to take the step. And it feels really kind of lonely and scary. But when you really leverage the brave tribe, that makes it easier for you to be brave.
Yeah, I love that in the chapter on what are you afraid of?
Mm,
Right? Like that. Sometimes I ask my kids that all the time. I have 3 girls, and one of my daughters, she is a NPRN, she's a cardiologist. And so I always ask her, like, she's like, "Oh, mom, like I'm scared." I'm like, "Well, what are you afraid of?" Right? And I always ask them, like, when they do something at the end, and I ask them, like, "But did you die?" Right? Like, the answer is usually no, because I'm asking you the question, you're able to answer it. And so I like to push my girls also to do things that are scary. I always have, like, do you remember the movie Superstar with Will Ferrell and what's her face? I can't remember her name.
hmm.
Um, they're like there's kids in a Catholic high school, and
Okay.
she's like, when I get nervous, I smell my armpits,
Oh,
and
yes.
okay. See,
Yes,
yeah,
I remember
and
the Saturday Night Live bit. Yes.
Superstar. So for my girls, all 3 of them have had the challenge at one point or another where they've had to go on stage for something. They're receiving an award or something, and I tell them, "I will pay you $20 if you will do a superstar on stage." Right? Because they're like, "I'm nervous to go on stage." I'm like, "Well, let's up the ante, right?" Like, you just need to do a superstar on stage. People are gonna laugh. They're not laughing at you, they're laughing with you, and then you're gonna walk off stage. I will give you this crisp $20 bill. All 3 of them have taken the challenge, and all 3 of them have done it, believe it or not. And I tell them, like, think about how scary it was to do that and how easy it was in the moment. Like, you just kind of just, like, it was a blur, right? Like, you
No,
just
just like just do it. Yep.
surrender. When I
Mhm.
did my TED Talk, I had to do the same thing. I had to think about the superstar thing because I was mortified.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you know
TEDx
what I mean? I
are
was like, I remember when it was time for me to go on stage, I lost all control of like my ability to walk and move all of a sudden. Um, and my heart was pounding and I'm mic'd up. I ended up having to go, like to the bathroom to breathe and just kind of like clear my
uh-huh.
and come back. And I walked out and it was a blur. I,
Mhm.
I don't remember my time on stage. It was
Wow.
like I just released and I did it, right? And I went to like
Mm.
autopilot. And I remember coming off and my knees just feeling like they were like knocking each
Yeah.
other,
Yeah.
right? But I did
Well,
it and I was just mortified. And so I always take that as a lesson for myself. Like
mhm.
that was the scariest thing for me to do. And I did it, right? Moving to the US with a 4-month-old, that was scary as heck, but I did it. We
Yep.
didn't die. We're still here. We survived.
And it
And
makes you stronger. Yeah.
makes
Yeah.
you stronger. And so
I love that.
reading your book, I think that, I love the last part about the leap. So tell us about the leap. And I
Mm.
know you can talk about like the lesson, like the lessons that you put in also.
Yeah, so like door number 1, 2, and 3 are really going over like what are the evidence-based, basically tactics or strategies that you can do to try to become braver. So that we got the cognitive psychology door 1, and then we've got behavioral, and we've got social psychology. And at the end, it was just like, let's put it all together. And the main character had to take the leap and do what
Mhm.
they want to do. So it's just, I mean, like any story, there's got to be like the ups and downs. So it really represents like really thinking about what is what is the goal that you have? What is the life that you want? What is the life that you have now? And
Mhm.
many times I feel like, at least this was for me, like sometimes if you have a good life, that makes it harder for you to be brave. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because like sometimes if you have a good life, you're like, well, I can't risk like losing like everything is good right now, right? Like, for me writing this book, so I'll give you a real example. So I've had my company, Breakthrough Leadership Group, for 11 years. I am spoiled. I have amazing clients. I do leadership development workshops for them. I usually get booked out like 6 months to a year in advance because they plan their talent strategy and other workshops. Like, I mean, how lucky am I that I've got great clients, consistent business. I'm an entrepreneur, business owner. Why would I ever risk that? Because I have a good life to
Yeah.
go back to school, do research on bravery, and launch a book. Because I'm having to say no to some of this business to go for this new thing. So taking the leap, as I write the book, it's like I'm writing it for myself. Like I had a good life and I loved, I still enjoyed the work that I was doing, the impact that I'm having, but I had this desire, this dream. I think it was like maybe 10 years before I wrote the book, my first conversation with Ken Blanchard, that I wanted to write a book like he did in a parable, right? But it took me a while to have the bravery just to take the leap, right?
Yeah.
So taking the leap is like, what is the life that you really want, or what is a goal in your career or your personal life that you really want? And make the decision like, I am going to go for it, right? And I need to take action and take that leap. And even when you take the leap as well, like it was not an easy process with the book. There were some ups and some downs, but each time you run into some challenges or even have like mini failures, all of those teach you things. It's like be brave enough to suck at something new, you know, So writing a book, like I had a lot of mentors. I had great development. I had a ghostwriter that helped me with the story aspects because he's an expert at stories. I had developmental editors. I have copy editors. I have, proofreaders. And every time we identified problems, it was hard, but that actually is where you learn. That's where the gold is. So in the Marine Corps, we say, embrace the suck. And what that means is when things are hard, that's not happening to you, that's happening for you. That's where strength is forged, right? So take the leap. Take the leap. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be ups and downs. But if you surround yourself with that brave tribe, when you have the downs, you have people that are going to help you turn it around and get back up. And each time you have those little downturns, that's where you learn the most, right? So that's what the leap means.
Yeah, I love that, right? Like it's where do you want to be, right? So
Hmm.
it's it's almost I'm not going to knock anything, but a lot of people will create vision boards, right?
Hmm.
Where
Oh,
like
I'll
this
go
is
there. I'll knock a vision board. We can do it all day long.
okay. So,
It's
people will vision board, right? But then they put it on a wall and they walk away,
hmm. Yeah.
right? They'll
Yeah.
add to the vision board, but they don't take any action. They don't work on like, they're starting to work on the mindset, but they don't work on the action piece and on the, doing the things that'll scare them and taking the leap to be
Mhm.
able to get to that, to
Yeah.
whatever they're planning. So, what's your perspective on the
Yeah.
vision board?
Um, I think vision boards can be very powerful tools if they're used the right way. But I see so many people use them the wrong way, which is they have all this fun being creative in creating a vision board of the life they want. But they
Hmm.
think if they just create it and look at it and sit in their room and manifest all day, it's just going to happen to them. So, I said I don't use the word manifest. I use more the word of like, I want you to set a goal of the life that you want. And it's great that you imagine the future self that you want to be, that you believe you can get there. But if you don't take action, and that's where there's a problem with vision boards. If people
Yeah.
stop at the vision board, it doesn't work. Like you are what you consistently do. So I had to tell myself, if I want to be a writer, I need to consistently write if I want to be a writer. So now I have to write an article every 2 weeks for Forbes and once a month for Psychology Today. Like I'm expected to do that from my publisher. So I have to keep writing consistently to be considered a writer, even, so that's why door number two is so important is we can't just stay in vision board land,
Mhm.
right? You've got to start with a vision board, but then each day you need to think about what are actions I can take that are going to help me move toward what that vision is. And a little more evidence just to bore your audience here, which is if you look at Roy Baumeister, who really looks at the evidence around like willpower or motivation. What he shares is that we have the largest amount of cognitive ability first thing in the morning. So a technique is to be disciplined about your day and like what is one thing you're going to do each day that's going to move you toward your vision board. And usually it's the hardest thing. Think of like our brain is on, we have a full power in the morning to do the hardest things. But what most people do is we do the easy things first. Like, oh, I'm just going to check my email and I'm going to do this easy. And then by the end of the day, you got that really hard thing. And then it's like you have your brain is on low battery power. And now you're asking yourself to do the hardest thing with like low power. And what do most people do? They put it off and say tomorrow. So
Yeah,
if you
or
have
they
a problem with procrastination, make a promise to yourself of the thing you're going to do each day to move yourself toward that vision or that goal that you have. And then practice self love every day, which is keeping promises to yourself. I say self care, having a me day is you getting up and doing the hard thing that you promised to yourself. It is discipline. My latest article in Psychology Today, it was just like a week ago, was self care is discipline, not indulgence. Right. So that's another lesson I want to teach my daughters and the world, right? So a little hint there. Yep.
yeah,
So vision boards are okay as long as they're the starting point and then we've got the action that follows. So I'm with
yeah, yeah, and so I've had a lot of people, I've met a lot of people that, I've been invited to, like, vision board,
you.
workshops or whatever, and I am the worst in creating vision boards because 'cause I'm like, I don't know, I'm a clean slate every day, right? So, like, my vision may change tomorrow because I read something or
Mm,
something intrigued me or I'm curious about something,
mm,
right?
yeah.
So, it's for me, it's hard to create a vision board because I'm like, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like I live in the moment and I have goals for where I need to get to,
Mhm.
right? And I think that's why it's hard for me to create a vision board because I already have set goals that I'm working
Yeah.
towards,
Yeah. So you like
right?
more concrete. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, you really are. You're setting goals for yourself, right? So a vision board would be like, what would be pictures to represent you accomplishing those goals? So
Yeah.
I'm more like you. I'm more corporate girl academic. So I'm more
Mhm.
of the how do we create concrete, like self-concordant goals that
Yeah.
have like the implementation intentions, right? Goalwitzer's data, like what are the steps to be able to get there? So I'm kind of like you. But for a lot of people that are the more creative ones, Like, let's all set the concrete self-concordant goals. And then, hey, if it's going to inspire you to create a vision board, I love it. And you can look at it each day, but you have to do more than look at the vision board. You actually have to do something, that you are what you do each day. So you have to take action to make that a reality. That's my
That's,
little issue with manifesting. Like,
I
you
think that's
hear,
your next book.
I know, like, my daughter just shared with me a quote. She goes, Mom, this went like viral. Like, she's starting to study psychology, which I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, we have the most fascinating discussions on psychology and philosophy. I love it. But she goes, this was one of the most viral things on, I think, Instagram. And it was like a post, and it inspired her years ago. And she still looks at it and she goes, don't chase, attract. And I was like, no, like that is the worst thing ever. You have to chase, you have to take action. So I want to, like, my next post, I should do this, is like, take that and go, this is the most famous one. This is crap. This is not evidence-based. Don't,
Oh,
right?
Jill, I have that tattooed on my arm. I don't chase, I attract. But
Really?
yeah,
Okay. But you're the action person.
but it has a booty.
It's got to boot. But I know you are an
Yeah,
action girl. So
yeah.
it's, you go to the conferences to meet the people to attract it. It's just about making sure that,
It's the action. It's the
it's the
action.
action. You
Yeah,
can't sit in a room and say, like, what is the book, The Secret? Say, like, I
yes.
don't know. I haven't read it, but and I know a lot of people like love it, but like, oh, just manifest and say,
Just manifest it, and the universe
I want a
will provide.
Lamborghini and I want to be popular and I want everyone and you just sit in your
Yeah.
bedroom and just wish it. You got to actually get out there.
Well, the universe is supposed to provide because you're putting out the positive energy. However, what they don't talk about is the negative, again, like you say in here, like the negative things that you need to overcome, the fear that drives you down. So
Yeah.
people will focus on like envisioning the life they want, but they're still living with negative thoughts. They're still
Hmm.
like holding themselves back. They're afraid to take steps. They
Hmm.
are fearful. They make up 1,000 excuses as to why they're not doing
Yeah.
something, right? I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I don't have the skill. I don't have, I want to lose weight. I want to, I don't know. I want to wait 2 more years. Then 2 more years comes
I'll
and I'm
wait
going to
until
wait
I'm ready. Hmm.
years. I'm going to wait till I'm ready. Till it's so much. I'm going to wait till I become an expert. I'm going to wait till there's so many different excuses I hear. Right.
Yeah.
And they're excuses, and excuses are ways to shelter ourselves. Right. Because
Yeah.
it shelters us. It validates us from doing the things
It
that are,
makes us feel safe. That's a
yeah.
fear. It makes us feel safe. Like, oh, like if I hesitate, then I'm going to stay in my
Yeah.
comfort zone and it feels safe. So, that's a theme that you read in the book too, is I just really want everyone to lean into doing the hard thing. Like I'm looking at, I have my entire office is like, it surrounds me with everything that inspires me. And I'm looking at The Choice by Hercules. It's a famous painting. And it's the scene where Hercules has a choice to go down one path or the other. The one is virtue, which is the beautiful woman that says, this path is going to be filled with hardship and challenges, but it is the life of virtue of making the biggest difference. And then there's the vice with a beautiful woman that said, this is going to be the most luxurious, easy life. You'll have anything your heart's desire, and there'll be like no work, right? And he had to make that choice, right? And I think in life, we think of that example. It's easy to go like, oh, well, I want to go down the vice, the easy path, right? Isn't that going to bring the highest levels of happiness? So in that way, I want us to always think of that, that famous, painting of Hercules. And just, if you always choose the noble path, the hard path that leads to having a bigger impact in whatever way you want, and like knowing there'll be challenges and it'll be uncomfortable, that will lead to highest levels of happiness, success, and well-being. And I think we need to, get that message out there. I think our society right now is listening to a lot of things I see on social media is all about just be easy on yourself. Like, just, don't put yourself through that discomfort. Just take the day off too much. And I'm saying, no, that is not serving yourself. Self-love is keeping promises to yourself and saying, I can do it. So I'm an advocate for like Jonathan Haidt's, book, if you know his The Anxious Generation for Kids, or
Yeah.
Anti agility. We need to do hard stuff. We're not going to break, and we're going to be happier because of it.
And we're gonna be, and you're not gonna die.
You're not going to
And
die. You know what? We just need to quote your grandma. I'll
my
tattoo that
grandma,
later. You're not going to die. Just do it.
forbid to die. Yeah.
Did you
I love
die?
that. So, Jill, I want to ask you one last thing. So, from your book, I want you to share a quote from it that you want readers to actually take something away from. One of your favorites.
All right. Well, I'm just going to pick one.
Yep.
This is just in the beginning, which is in the intro. It's just literally page 2. It just starts off, but it just says the other side of hard. Everything you want in life, success, fulfillment, happiness, lives on the other side of hard. The ability to grow, to reach new levels, to become more than you are today requires stepping outside of what's familiar and easy. And I'm just one more quick paragraph here is because of my military background, I tie into that. In the military, this truth is everywhere. I spent my years in the Marine Corps being uncomfortable, but that was the expectation. Growth through discomfort was part of the culture. As Admiral Nimitz said about the Marine Corps in World War II, uncommon valor was a common virtue. Marines don't just accept difficulty, they embrace it because they know that when you reach the other side of something really hard, you come back stronger and more confident. Or, as we say in the Marine Corps, pain is weakness leaving the body. And then I go on to say, when I studied positive psychology, I realized all these things that I learned in the Marine Corps are scientifically validated in psychology. So when you look at the pendulum, I think the pendulum has swung a little over to ease. We've got so much technology that makes everything so easy. We want to leverage technology to make ourselves more efficient, but we don't want to avoid discomfort. So,
Yep.
yeah, I'm trying to swing the pendulum the other way a little bit and help
I
people
love
do.
that. And I love that. Pain is weakness leaving the body.
It is. That's like tattooed on so many bodies of Marines. Like it's on our t-shirt. So yeah, think about that. Like when I'm experiencing discomfort or pain and getting through it, because you're not going to die,
Yeah.
that is weakness leaving the body, or that's where strength is forged. So I want people to, when there's challenges, instead of running away from it, I want
Mhm.
them to run toward it. But when you're running away from fear or challenges, it doesn't usually make the challenge go away or the fear go away. We just suffer longer because we're running away from the fear. So, as I talk to audiences and my clients, when there's challenges or fear, like I teach people to like look at that as a signpost that it's important and you need to run toward it instead of away from it. Hmm.
I love this. So, Jill, this has been a great conversation. I know you and I can talk for hours. Um,
We're not Joe Rogan. We're not Huberman. Like let's
this
wrap
could
this one
be,
up.
yeah, but this could be like a day long conversation. We could do a whole workshop, just the two of us right here. Um,
Yeah.
so I want to thank you for being our first author on the Bookmark to join us. I was when I created the book club, I was like, I just have to have Jill on. Like that's going to be our first book
I
because,
love
like,
it.
yeah, like I remember reading one of your drafts and providing some feedback, and I thought it was phenomenal. Then I think it's great. We do need this today.
Mhm.
I read it. It resonated with me, and it gave me a language that I can use for what I've done throughout my life. Right, that grit, that just like having, like I said, put on my big girl pants, put on my brave pants, right, and just
Yep.
doing the things I needed to do to be able to survive and to get to
Yeah.
my goals,
Yeah.
right? Um, and I've been, I don't want to say I'm lucky because it's nothing's been luck. It's been blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's what makes you the resilient badass that you are,
Thank you. And
is because each time you have a difficulty, you just lean in. Yeah. You're the picture of bravery. I love it.
thank you.
Mhm.
I think you're the picture of bravery. I admire you so much. Thank you again for being with us. Do you have any last words of wisdom that you want to leave us with
Mm,
before we sign off?
yeah. I to just remember, bravery is not being fearless. It's being scared and doing it anyway. I would be honored if anyone read the book, got the book. Also, if people just go to my website, I have a free like bravery assessment, a free brave action guide. Like it's all just free because I really care about people learning this and applying it. So my website is just my name, jillschulman.com. I'm just giving this away to everyone. So please just at a minimum, like take the little bravery assessment, get the free brave action guide to see how you can apply it to your life. Because every one of us has fears. Someone might be scared of admitting they don't have the answers or scared of asking for help. So everyone's got areas that they can, I think, grow that bravery muscle. So yeah, so do it. Don't wait until the fear goes away. Do it scared. And if you just keep that as your mantra, or as Mira says, you're not going to die, just put your big girl pants on, either one. It's not going to make your life more miserable. It's actually going to make you more resilient and happier. And I've got all of the science in the back of the book that backs it up. Yep.
I love that. So I will be putting your contact information, your book, well, not your real contact information, but your LinkedIn, your book, links to your book, links to your website, and the show notes on YouTube. And I will add it in a post on LinkedIn.
Great.
And I want to thank you so much again. I'm so proud of you.
Well, thank you. Thanks for being in my
sharing.
quarter. I'm so lucky that I met you at that meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great event, and I didn't die because of you. I almost died, but I didn't.
I've always got like this. I've always got like all the different medicines and health things. Like I'm always the one to come to. Like at any conference, like what do you got? Like however you're feeling, I'm like, I'll get my little medicine bag out. Like
Yeah, you popped that out of your Mary Poppins bag and put it in my water, and you're like, "Here, drink this."
I'm gonna be fine. I love it.
I felt great afterwards. So,
Yeah.
thank
All right,
you.
Mira. Thank
All
you so
right,
much for
everyone.
having me. I'm
Thank you.
honored to be your first guest. It's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Jill.
All right, take care.